played on chess.com. Okay, so this game was pretty accurate except from I think one or two blunders ahead in the middle game, right before the end game here. But the main reason I'm showing you this game today is because it was such a beautiful end game, such a complicated end game, and I had this feeling this end game has much more than what seems to the eye at the beginning. So let's see what was in this game. So e4, e5. We went for, it started with the Italian opening, but then it went for the Roy Lopez after bishop e7, bishop e3, d6, and here I went for his bishop, and from here it's already in the Roy Lopez after few moves order. Now here it's the middle game already, and I tried to start my plan, and actually my plan was to go after the queen side, the right side of the board, and he went immediately from the center with the d4 move, and after queen c7 just to defend on e5, maintaining the pressure in the center, building up the position a little bit. Knight c4 for the exchange. It wasn't the most accurate move, but this is okay. And here I really provoked him to play the move b3 because I want to get this move and get the opportunity to break through with a4 when I have a pawn on b3. It will be much easier for me to offer the exchange of pawns and to open up some lines. So after b3, bishop e6, exchange on e5, everything is great so far. Rook d8 to control the open line, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. Actually, his idea here was really nice. He wanted to play bishop g3, and I really had a nice defense with knight d7, as you will see in the next few moves. Just simply knight d7, with the idea also later in the game to bring the knight to the queen side. So c4. Here I had this hunch in me that he really opened up some weaknesses on the dark squares. So I immediately took advantage with bishop b4, rook d1, bishop c3, with the simple idea just to allocate my bishop on c3 and to play the move b4. And after this exchange, I just played the move b4. And as you can see, the computer thinks it's the best, and I really glad about it. And now I really have the strong square on c5, very strong location for my knight later on in the game. And my bishop on c3, such a magical bishop, is already also defending on the pawn on e5, so he's doing a great job. After c5, really unlogical move, and I don't really understand the purpose, so I immediately took on c5 with my knight, and after this exchange I also get the control on the d line, the open line on d file, and I have the opportunity to play knight e4 later on in the game. So let's see how this game continued. After queen c4, queen d6, knight d4, queen c5, I just try to simplify the position. I have a significant advantage on the pawn structure and the pawn, one pawn advantage. I just try to exchange the queens and to simplify the position as much as I can. After queen a6, the right move was to play again queen b5, but sorry, not in this position, knight d4, it's a great move. And here, this is, I would say, the only blunder in the game, knight e2. I mean, I just mislooked the queen on a6. It's okay, it's blitz, sometimes it's happen. Luckily and gladly, he didn't see the opportunity to capture my knight on e2 with his queen on a6, and he played a horrible move, knight f5, and I, of course, immediately took advantage and took on g3. Now here, it started to be a little bit complicated because I went too ambitious with the move rook d2, completely leave my king alone, and this is horrible choice to do. So what I really needed to do actually is just to play the simple move king h7, maybe later on g6, and just push the c pawn and continue to control the d file. But after rook d2, we actually got a very special endgame position. Queen c8, king h7, rook f1. And here I had some tactic in my mind, you know, I'm preparing the sacrifice on g2. So the main idea was to build it up, you know, to let him focus trying to create a mate net on my king, maybe move like queen f8, which he cannot do right now, or king e8, which he will do later on in the game. So after bishop d4, creating the net just to prepare the sacrifice on g2, he played the move queen e2. Now here he overlooked this sacrifice on g2, and the best move actually was queen c4, just to defend on f7 and to attack the rook, and then this sacrifice on g2 would have been much more accurate, because as you're going to see, after rook takes on g2, it's going to be wild, absolutely wild. King takes on g2, queen c2. Here he did the horrible mistake, king h1, and it just went for a mate. Really simple. But the actual move that I calculated for him, and I didn't have enough time to calculate, as you can see I had only 40 seconds, so I didn't have enough time to calculate if it's working or not working, but I saw something really amazing and I decided to analyze this game, and I'm really glad I did, and you will see why. So after king f3, only move, queen d3 only move as well, king g4 only move. Now you are going to be amazed with what's going on with this king, the white king, and the attack on my king as well. Queen takes on e4, it's the only move, and here the amazing move that I did see in the game actually. I did calculate this move and I asked myself, do I have a mate here? Because after rook f4, I cannot take the rook on f4. Such an amazing position, right? I mean, look at my queen. It just pinned to his queen. So if I will take on f4, it just takes my queen and completely wins the game. So I cannot take on f4. It's such crazy position. I have to play the first move, queen e2 check. After queen e2 check, he has a few options to go for h4, which is answered by immediately a g5 mate, or the other option, rook f3. Until here everything is okay. Now I don't have the opportunity to play e4 because it will just capture on d4, threaten my queen and defends the rook, and this is game over. The only move here, h5, but again it's going to be so crazy. Of course, if you will take on h5, I will take with check, and this is completely winning. For example, king h4, and I will take on f5, and this is winning, and king g5, and I will just play f6, and this is just going for the mate. So only move here, it's king actually to g5, king h4. Just to show you, I will take on f3, f7, e4, defense on g7, and as you can see, this is the quiet move that you have to see in advance in order to play this line. If you cannot see this line, you are absolutely will be sure that you are going to lose, so you are not going to play this line at the beginning, from the beginning. But the really interesting thing is after king g5, capture on f3, capture on f7, and here you ask yourself, what am I going to play? So you can realize the only move is the first move because he's threatening to mate my king, so the only first move is bishop e3 actually. Now bishop e3, of course he cannot capture the bishop because of this pin between the queens, so he has to go with king h4, and again you're asking yourself, I don't have a mate here, I absolutely don't have a mate here, so what I'm going to play? Now you will look immediately for the first move like queen e4, but after queen e4 he actually takes on h5, and after queen f3, the only check that I left, king h4, and as you can see now, after queen e4 again, he just play simply g4, and I have nothing to play. Not even like bishop h6 is not really working because it just will take on h6, and this is completely winning. I cannot take back with my king because this is mate on h5. But let's see what is the difference, right? Let's see what is the difference, because what will happen if you will play immediately bishop h6? So let's see why bishop h6 is the winning move, the quiet winning move, but it's not over just yet. After queen e4, for example, if you will play now g4, so it's still winning for white, by the way, but if I will play here bishop h6, so why is it winning, right? I mean, still there is a significant attack on my black king, but why he cannot take on h6? So this is the beautiful here. You see, there is a pin between the two queens, but if you will take on h6, you will say to yourself, oh my god, if I will take the queen, he just take back with the knight and he's winning the game. But no, you just take the knight on h6 with your king, sacrifice your queen, and after queen capture, your queen on f3, g5, checkmate. And what is more beautiful about this one, that if he's not going to capture your queen, so what are you going to play? Any other move beside queen g7 just to give away the queen is actually a losing move immediately. For example, queen e6 check, I will go with the immediate queen f6 just to exchange the queen, and I will go with the c pawn to promote the queen, and game over. So I really hope you enjoyed this game, especially the end game and especially our analysis, because I felt this end game was a little bit more than what's shown in the game itself and than what I see in the game itself, because this tricky move rook f4, which I saw when I started to calculate king f3 in this position, this is the move where I felt it's something crazy will going on this position, and I'm glad I analyzed this one, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Keep follow the channel, more videos are coming up. See you in the next one.